Hello and good evening to you. Coming up on BBC London, an exclusive investigation. We expose the companies that illegally sold number plates online without checking customers' documents. Also ahead this Wednesday, water worries, how a burst pipe has left thousands of homes and businesses in southeast London without water. Plus,
Serena Wiegmann is at Wembley, lending her support to aspiring football coaches and planning more Euros success this summer.
the cats living on a patch of wasteland in southeast London now facing eviction, a plea to help rehome them. And
oh my God, I've climbed a magical man tree.
hello. Yes, Bridget's back as the fourth film hits the big screen this week. The director tells us about his love affair with London. A very warm welcome to the programme. Good to have you with us. We start tonight with a BBC London investigation that was prompted after one of our viewers got in touch distraught about her car being cloned. That's when a number plate is copied and put on another vehicle, and then all fines are wrongly sent to the innocent owner of the car. And it could happen to anyone. We expose how easy it is to buy copies of plates because some companies have been selling them on Amazon without checking any customer documents, which is illegal. Our findings have now led to Amazon banning the sale of car number plates on its platform. With this exclusive report, here's Jim Weeble.
Car cloning. It's a crime that affects thousands of unsuspecting Londoners every year. It's where the number plate of a vehicle is copied and then placed on usually a similar looking car. The benefit for the clone driver, any fines or worse, go to the unsuspecting owner of the original vehicle, which is exactly what happened in Surrey to Stella Roscoe.
I had a letter through the post, through my front door, from the Met Police. And to my horror, they said they were going to prosecute me for leaving the scene of an accident.
And where was this?
They said it took place in Ilford, in Essex.
When was the last time you went to Ilford in Essex?
I have never been to Ilford in Essex.
At the time of the incident, Stella was being picked up by a friend on her way to a night out in Leatherhead. What has since evolved is a protracted and stressful dialogue with her insurance company to prove it wasn't her or her car in Ilford.
I feel absolutely furious. I think I've been made to feel belittled. You know, when you're trying to prove that you know full well that you're not guilty of something, but it doesn't matter how much evidence you try to give, the party that you're dealing with doesn't want to believe you.
Back in August on this programme, we told you that the number of clone cars in London had gone up by 64% over the last 3 years. You'd like to think it would be hard to get a plate that you're not entitled to, but as this investigation has found, that's not always the case. The law is very clear. To supply in the UK, you need to be registered with the DVLA. You have to see proof of entitlement to the vehicle, like a V5 document, and a proof of ID, like a driver's licence, and the plate itself must conform to a British standard. In fact, the law states that a supplier has to physically see your documents, which is why taking them to a retailer is the simplest way to get your plates.
So I'm at Halfords, I've got my V5 document, I've got my driver's licence, and Stefan here is going to make me a number plate. Aren't you, Steph?
Of course I will.
But we searched the words number plate on Amazon and found a plethora of online number plate suppliers. So we wanted to see how they did their checks. We decided to test the first 7 companies that came up on that day to see if they were sticking to the rules. Me and producer Stephen bought 2 different road legal plates from each supplier to make sure it wasn't a one-off. These ones are just for illustration. We filled out the online form and sat back to see if anyone got in touch to check us out. But within a matter of days, the plates started arriving through our letterbox. None of the companies checked any of our documents. Companies like SLS UK Holdings, who advertised fully road legal plates and that they're a DVLA registered supplier, but who also didn't check any of our documents.
Hello, Dragons. My name is Jordan.
The company is owned by this man, Jordan Dakin, seen here 10 years ago at the age of 18. He was the youngest entrepreneur to get an investment on Dragon's Den from Deborah Meaden for a DIY company he now no longer owns.
Well, I'd like to accept your offer.
Excellent. There you go. Well done. Very good.
We tried to get in touch with Mr. Dakin many times, but heard nothing back.
So we've come to Westbury in Wiltshire, where he's based, to ask why his company illegally supplied us with number plates. So we haven't managed to speak to Mr. Dakin, but we have spoken to someone who knows him, who's confirmed he's received our letters, knows we want to talk to him, but we still haven't heard anything from him.
Acrylic Supplies is another DVLA registered supplier who sent us plates without wanting to see any documents. It's owned by a company called Plastic Services, also based in Westbury. We wrote to them several times and simply had our letters returned. In fact, Jordan Dakin on the left and Plastic Services Director Macaulay Bivins are old acquaintances.
So we come to the Rockhaven Business Centre, where we've been sending our letters to Plastic Services, which have been returned to sender, but clearly, as you can see there, they're here, Plastic Services Limited.
And Mr. Bivins was there as well.
Mr. Bivins, can you come out and talk to us, please? Can you come out and explain why you're illegally supplying number plates? Well, it says here, welcome, please ring the bell for assistance, but clearly we're not very welcome this morning. It's interesting, it says here, things you need to make a number plate proof of entitlement identification document. They obviously know what the rules are.
His solicitors have now been in touch and said they require more information in order to investigate. So what about the other companies we looked at? Defence Line and Domo Corporation also did not request any documents. Defence Line declined to comment, as did Domo Corporation, also claiming they needed more information to investigate. Official Plates and Mina Supplies advertised on Amazon that ID was necessary, but dispatched the plates without seeing any. Official Plates refused to comment. Mina Supplies said, "We take compliance with the law very seriously and are committed to upholding all legal and regulatory requirements." Reg Locker did follow up with a text message. We ignored it and the plates got delivered. Reg Locker told us,
"All temporary staff will be retained in order that no such oversight ever occurs again."
We submitted our evidence to Amazon. They've removed the products the 7 companies were selling, and on top of that, are stopping the sale of vehicle number plates altogether. They told us,
"We continuously monitor our store. We recently made the decision to prohibit the sale of customisable vehicle number plates. Those who violate our policies are subject to action."
I called Stella to see what she felt about the new development.
If they've acted now, then I welcome that very much, but it should have happened a long time ago.
And as far as Stella's own cloning case is concerned, it's still ongoing. Jim Weeble, BBC London.
And our thanks to Stella for getting in touch in the first place. It certainly struck a chord with our callers on our radio station. If you want to share your story, just grab your smartphone and you can see it there. Just scan the QR code on your screen to send us a WhatsApp message, or you can email hello@bbclondon@bbc.co.uk. And actually, some of you have already been in touch. Janet White told us she's had over £500 worth of parking fines sent to her from Epping. And she says she's not paying as she's never been there. Another viewer who didn't leave their name says they've received over 50 parking charges and threats of bailiffs. Eventually, police did stop a vehicle with their cloned number plates attached. Thank you for getting in touch, and please do keep your stories coming. That is our top story. Thanks for being with us. Lots more to come, including...
Find out why this adorable little cat and about 20 others like her urgently need a new home.
Oh my God. I've climbed a magical wand tree.
Hello. And as Bridget's back for a 4th film, the director talks about how London also plays a starring role. Next, though, this is the reason thousands of homes and businesses in South East London have been left without water or reduced supply. A burst water main, along with problems at a pumping station in Crystal Palace, meant they were cut off from supply or experienced low pressure. Thames Water says it's working hard to fix the problem. Frankie McCamley can tell us more.
It may look like a small hole, but beneath the surface, the damage has had huge repercussions. Thousands of homes and businesses have been affected across 6 postcodes in the south of the capital. Some local schools were closed and care homes without water. Others, though, seemed to take it in their stride.
I came home from work at about 6 o'clock, but I had a WhatsApp from neighbours beforehand to say the water was off, and I'm a bit of a contingency planner, so I had, I think, 32 litres of bottled water in my garage, and so it was fine. We brushed our teeth, we were able to wash our hands, and by this morning the water was back on.
Within metres of the burst pipe, residents say their water has been fine, but the scenes on their doorsteps yesterday were a bit of a shock.
I saw, torrents of, it was dirty water gushing down the street on both sides of the road. Fortunately, it wasn't on the pavement, so we didn't come into the gardens or anything.
Work is well and truly still underway here and will be for a number of days. Now, just behind us, you can see just a little bit of water still being pumped out. But this is a very different picture to what it looked like yesterday and last night, with water flooding these roads. And you can see where it's been from the mud it's left behind. Luckily, though, we are on a hill, so the water managed to escape quickly. And so far, it doesn't look like any of the homes have been damaged.
Thames Water has apologised to customers in the affected areas and said water supplies should return during the course of the day. Bottled water stations and deliveries have also been set up as the clean-up operation continues. Frankie McCamley, BBC London.
We will, of course, keep across the latest for you in South East London because it affects many people there. But now to the latest in the controversial expansion of Heathrow. The airport's confirmed a multi-billion-pound investment plan to expand 2 of its terminals ahead of submitting proposals for a 3rd runway to the government this summer. It comes just 2 weeks after the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, backed a 3rd runway. Well, our transport correspondent Tom Edwards joins me. Of course, you're following this saga. I guess this is not a massive surprise.
Yeah, no surprise really. Heathrow confirmed that it would apply for planning permission for a 3rd runway by the summer. What was more of a surprise was the boss of Heathrow thinks it can be done in 10 years or so. This is the plan we're talking about. It's a runway to the northwest of the existing 2 runways. You'll be able to see it here. It's very complicated, will be very expensive, and it'll put the N25 in a tunnel. It'll also destroy most of the village of Harmondsworth. The announcement at a steelworks in Scunthorpe, of all places, today was to show how investment in Heathrow spreads right across the country. Some other detail we got, as you mentioned there, investment upgrade of Terminal 2 and Terminal 5 before that, and also the cost of the 3rd runway is going to be significantly more than £16 billion. This is what the boss of Heathrow had to say. Have a listen to this.
So let us be clear. The project can only go ahead if we meet the rules on noise, air quality and carbon that the government sets out in the airport's national policy statement. It's as simple as that. A 3rd runway cannot be approved if we cannot deliver. And luckily, we are already making real progress. Even though we are serving more passengers than ever before, our noise footprint is smaller than ever before.
Now, that's the key question. Can you expand an airport, add a 3rd runway and stay within existing noise and pollution limits? They're putting a lot of weight onto this thing called sustainable aviation fuel. That's an unproven tech, really. Still a long way to go. Expect court challenges.
OK, and I know you will keep us updated. Thank you, Tom. That's our transport correspondent, Tom Edwards. Now, cast your mind back when the Lionesses won the Euros in 2022 in dramatic style right here in the capital. It boosted dreams of a generation of young girls playing the sport. They've had a positive impact on breaking down gender barriers, but the Football Association accepts more work needs to be done to encourage female coaches into the game. Well, today, head coach Serena Wiegman was at the home of football to lend a hand to those just starting out. Our sports reporter Chris Legg headed to Wembley to chat to her.
England's Euro 2022 triumph, the manager who masterminded it, Serena Wiegman. Today, she was at Wembley for the FA's Chase football programme, which supports aspiring coaches in the grassroots game, where women are still underrepresented.
What we want, more female coaches in football. You want a representation of society. So we want more female coaches, but also more female coaches with a different background, and that's exactly what you see happening here.
The impact of Wiegman as a role model is being felt. The FA says the number of female coaches being developed has increased by 88% in the last 4 years, albeit from a small base.
Nice to meet you.
Lydia from near Reading is among those on the programme. She coaches youth football, as does Samantha from Worksop. Do you think there's any extra hurdles as a woman, or do you think it's just the same barriers that men are facing?
I don't think there's. I think my son, he's 6 and he's like, Mummy, you can't train, you're a girl. But it's like, I don't know where he's got that from.
Sometimes I've turned up and it's sort of felt quite aggressive, I would say. Mostly, generally, it's fine and actually, you know, really positive, and it's lovely. It's lovely when I meet other female coaches.
More success at Euro 2025 this summer could only accelerate the change sparked by the Lionesses 3 years ago.
We change society in a positive way, and you see now little boys and girls wearing shirts of Leah Williamson, of Lauren Hemp, and that's what you want, that we talk about football, and it's all one.
Do you feel more pressure this time around, the weight of expectation, than you did in 2022?
No, there was pressure. I've always, since I came in, the expectations have always been very, very high, and everyone expects England to win. What we're going after is we want to be at our best, and of course we have a dream, and we want to chase some more. So Germany won 8 times, Norway won it 2 times, so let's go after them.
A whole nation is behind them. Chris Legg, BBC London.
Oh, look at that face. Can you help some feline friends facing eviction? I'm talking about some cats that are neither feral nor domesticated and often live outdoors in colonies with other cats, so-called in-betweeners. A group of them needs to be relocated from a patch of wasteland which is due to be redeveloped. Anna O'Neill has the story.
They're used to the sound of drumming here, but at the back of this music rehearsal space, they've recently been hearing the pitter-patter of tiny paws. This venue has become home to a colony of 6 in-betweener cats, felines that are neither tame nor feral and live outside in a makeshift cabin.
One day, one of the guys found 2 cats and the mum in the shed, 2 kittens, just fairly recently born. We didn't quite know what to do with them, so we all sat around and looked at them and then decided to go and buy some cat food. And later on, the mother delivered another 3. We weren't quite sure whether the cat was pregnant, and obviously she was. And by then, panic had ensued. So we went to the cat protection and said, help.
And it didn't end there. There were 15 other in-betweener cats living on this bit of wasteland at the back of the venue that's about to be redeveloped for housing.
Yeah.
And those cats will have to go elsewhere.
It's mainly wasteland here. But it's about an acre.
And all this is up for redevelopment?
Yes, 300 flats apparently. So we're looking for people who can provide these cats with a suitable home, which could be a space in your garden, it may be a business, so it could be a care home that's got space outside, or a prison, for example, that have got a outdoor shelter. The Cats Protection branch are able to provide that shelter as well for you, and a caregiver to feed and water them daily.
And will the Cats Protection neuter them as well? Is that what?
Yeah, so all of the cats have been neutered, all been vaccinated as well, so they are all ready to go.
Here at Music Room London, they'll be keeping their 6 in-betweeners in this makeshift space.
So Essentially, it's a place where the cats can go when it's raining or whether it's too hot and they need to come out of the sun.
So plenty of warm blankets and food, and as long as it's dry, it's fantastic, and they love it.
Anyone interested in taking some of the remaining 15 can contact Cats Protection Blackheath for more information. Anna O'Neill, BBC London.
In-betweeners, you heard it here. Now, the life and loves of Bridget Jones have been keeping audiences hooked ever since Renée Zellweger first portrayed her on screen back in 2001. In that time, she's had breakups and makeups aplenty. And now, in what's being billed as the last part of her story, being released tomorrow, just in time for Valentine's Day, she searches for love once more. Alice Bandakravi has been speaking to the director about Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy and his love affair with London.
In life, there are memories that will never leave us.
In the final instalment of this much-loved story, Bridget Jones is grieving.
But sometimes, those memories are suddenly...
Bridget!
all we're left with.
The biggest thing she's really dealing with years later is loss. You know, she has to figure out, we're there for her, how she deals with loss in her life. How does Bridget, who's a joyful, optimistic person, deal with that?
I've set you up on Tinder.
What's Tinder?
Now Bridget lives in North London, which features prominently in the film.
Everything all right, Mrs. Darcy?
Oh my God. We've climbed a magical man tree.
Well, Hampstead it's always been one of my favourite parts of London. It's storybook beautiful, but it sits there right in the middle of busy London, so you get both. You get real-life London, buses, cars, taxis, and you also get like this kind of beautiful, small village feel.
You can call me Rockstar.
Bridget Jones. But you can call her Mummy.
I would say that this Bridget wants to show London, you know, in the light that I see it, which is both warm and cosy and lovely, and also real. Like, I've shot in locations in parts of London that they're not all Flask Walk, and so I hope people see the movie and fall in love a little bit with London the way that I am.
I'm gonna try to make my dreams come.
So this scene is in the montage with our love interest, because it wouldn't be Bridget Jones without multiple handsome love interests.
Well, she's a bit magical that way, isn't she? Yeah, this is where she and the character of Rockstar, played by Leo Woodall, they have essentially a summer of romance, and we tell it mostly in a montage. And the last shot of the montage is of this really lovely little neighbourhood restaurant here in Hampstead.
Whether it's moving from South to North London or moving on from the past, some things never change.
Miniature Darcy, what's the news?
Where are the ladies with the big...
Hair. Well, they couldn't make it, I'm afraid. They're washing their hair.
All three?
Well, they wash each other's, you see.
Bridget Jones. It's time to live.
Alice Bandukravi, BBC London.
I'm sure it will raise a smile. Well, from one bridge to another, down by the river is where we can find Kate. Hi there, and hopefully some brighter weather to look forward to.
I can't promise too much, I'm afraid, Riz, but yes, I'm down here on the South Bank, a very chilly South Bank, actually. It is really very cold, but I'm surrounded by London's most famous landmarks, and I have to say they're looking particularly stunning, especially at night time this week anyway, because we've had all this cloud around. It's been really quite a gloomy week of weather so far, all thanks to high pressure, which is over Scandinavia at the moment. It's been feeding in the cloud. So we've had the cloud all day today. You can see on the map we have fit in on that northeasterly breeze. The breeze not especially strong, actually, but that cloud is really stubborn. It hasn't been going anywhere. It's been really rather dull. 1 or 2 spots of rain around as well, and that's going to continue overnight tonight. Very limited clear spells, the minimum temperature dropping down to around 1 Celsius. So although we've got the cloud, it just helps to keep the temperature just above 0, but it is still very cold. So it's a very similar start tomorrow morning as we had this morning. We have a lot of cloud around through Thursday as well. Perhaps a little bit of brightness here and there, but really not much yet on offer. Temperatures tomorrow, perhaps feeling a little chillier than today too. We're looking at a maximum of just 5 or 6 Celsius. Now, as we head into Thursday evening and overnight, we'll start to see a little bit of a change. The cloud a little more willing to break up overnight on Thursday, so we'll get a few clearer spells, and it's under those clearer spells that the temperature is going to get that little bit colder. So we're looking at minimum temperatures potentially dropping down below zero, looking at -1 or even -2. So there is a chance on Friday morning of a sparkle or two of frost first thing, so a little bit brighter first thing. There is still a lot of cloud around on Friday. We can see over Scandinavia, that high pressure, it's been blocking all the fronts coming in from the Atlantic. So they move towards us and they fizzle out. And that continues over towards Friday and into the weekend as well. But there's a bit more of a breeze. So that's just going to help break the cloud up a little more significantly. So we'll get 1 or 2 brighter spells on Friday, glimpses of sunshine, similar conditions on Saturday as well. But it is going to stay cold both during the day and nighttime, temperatures dropping below zero. So again, some sparkles of frost. Back to the warmth in the studio.
Kate, thanks very much. And that is where we leave you. So thanks very much for watching. More stories on our website and social media, of course, including on our Facebook. Meet the man behind the voice of many of our train announcements. It's very amusing. And if you missed it on Instagram, check out the London vegan restaurant that's become the first in the UK to get a Michelin star. From me and everyone on the team, whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye-bye.